and welcome to Your Daily Balance, Idaho Central Credit Union's video podcast, where we're here to bring you tips and tricks to help you on your way to achieving financial success. And today we're going to be talking about National Credit Union Youth Month with Morgan Place. Hi, Morgan.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, great. I'm so excited about this. I love talking about kids and how we can help them with their finances. It's going to be a good one.
April is a really fun month for ICCU.
It's a good one. Okay, so before we get into it too much, tell me about yourself and what you do at ICCU.
Yeah, so I am a social media specialist, and I've been with Idaho Central for the last 2.5 years, and our team just does everything social. So we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and we curate content a little bit differently for each platform. So we bring a lot of financial education, we support our community development team with events and sponsorships, we do a lot of giveaways, so we get to do a lot of fun stuff. So if you're not following all of those pages, make sure you are.
I know, I love that. And really it's true that the content is a little bit different on each of the different channels, just depending on what the audience is and what kinds of things those people might be interested in.
Yeah, we get to be a little bit creative with each of those, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and one of the social media kind of pushes or emphases. One of the things we're emphasizing this year in April is National Credit Union Youth Month. So tell us about what kind of fun things you guys have planned on social media for this month.
Yeah, so CUNA, which is the Credit Union National Association, they provide a lot of support for credit unions everywhere, including things with legislature or products and services, different trainings. So they provide us with a lot of support. And every April, they do the National Credit Union Youth Month. And this year's theme is Unleash the Power of Saving. So obviously, every month we want our members to be saving and spending wisely. But April is fun because we get to do a push for youth, for children. So we get to do some different tips and tricks and work with parents on kind of planting that seed. So, and like I said, each of our platforms will have some different content. We're going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to be doing some really fun Instagram reels. So you'll have to make sure to check it out.
I love that. And honestly, I think it's so important, but it's so fun. You know, I think we can do some really fun things to keep it exciting for people. And really, it isn't something that they're going to want to miss. It's going to be good. Good. So, as we get into this, I know you do some really great things with your kids. We're both moms, and I think that's really fun talking about youth savings accounts and all of those things. But you do some really neat things with your kids, and you've been teaching your daughter a little bit about wants and needs. So can you talk to us about those conversations and those kinds of things you've been teaching her?
Yeah, so I have two children. I have an 18-month-old son and a 7-year-old daughter.
And he's probably all about the financial education.
Yes, he's very savvy with money. So
yeah, he doesn't need any help. It's the daughter. Yeah.
So my 7-year-old, like we said, she's at the perfect age to start introducing these concepts. And she's at the age where she can be earning her own money and taking it to the store and doing some fun things. So I don't know about you, but my 7-year-old thinks she needs everything in every aisle in every store we ever go to.
Yes.
So we've been talking about the difference between wants and needs. So I take her to the store with me, and we have our grocery list and we have our budget, and we discuss the differences. And so while we get milk, bread, cheese, everything, all the staples that are on the grocery list, we talk about how that's going to feed our family for the week. Meanwhile, that candy bar that's conveniently placed in the checkout aisle is a want, and we need to make sure we get all of our needs. And of course, there's a time and a place for wants, but we need to stick to a budget.
Yeah.
So we do that. Another example was when we were school supply shopping last year, and she wanted the lunchbox with the sequins that go both ways and the matching thermos and all of the...
She's got good taste.
She does. Yeah, she's very stylish. But meanwhile, the pens and paper aren't quite as exciting. So having that discussion that if we get this with our $20 budget, you're not going to have anything to write with on the first day of school. So
yeah, you really do. You have to put in the things that are most important to you first, and then fill in with the fun stuff where you can.
Yeah, and it's a hard concept for kids who want everything. So
it is.
That's our first step.
My kids are a little bit older, so they're 9 and 11, and we've been having this conversation for a long time too. And sometimes we'll set a big family goal where it's we want to take a vacation to XYZ place. Right. And we know that we're trying to not eat out as much so that we can put more money towards saving for our vacation.
Yeah.
And so we'll have those conversations hey, I know that you guys all want to eat out. We all want to eat out. But at the same time, our long-term goal is to do this. And so they occasionally like to call me out on things that I've said are wants and needs. And they'll be like, well, Mama, is that really a need or is that a want? You know? So, but it's good to have those conversations with them and
well,
have them
if they're not getting their wants, you don't get it either, I guess.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, we get to make the final decisions, but you know, it's a really good concept, really important. So I love that. So I know you're doing a couple of other things with your daughter to, you know, teach her how to earn money, how to save money. What kinds of things are you doing with her that kind of help that along?
Yeah. So like I said, she's at the perfect age to start earning her own money and figuring that out. So we have some age appropriate chores for her, just like making her bed, cleaning her room, making sure all of her homework's done, things like that. And if she's done all of those, by the end of the week, we give her $5. So $2 goes to spending. So when we go to the store and she wants that candy bar, she can spend her own earned money to get that. And then $2 goes into saving. So she has a Share Bear piggy bank that she can put that in and save for some of those bigger ticket items. And then $1 goes to giving. So she can take that to church or she can buy dog treats for the animal shelter or whatever she wants to do. But
that is great.
Right.
And I love the clear piggy banks. I mean, you talk about that, but talk about how she saves there and how that's important for her.
So financial advisors actually recommend that children have a clear piggy bank or one of our green Share Bear banks, which are green, but you can still see the money in them, or a clear jar or anything like that, so that they can physically see the money growing. Saving is kind of an abstract concept, especially if you go put it in your credit union, every dollar you get. And so actually letting them see that bank fill up is a really good way for them to understand, hey, I'm saving this money and it's growing. And then once that bank is filled up, you can bring them into our branches, which have the coin machines.
And those are awesome.
Yeah, and those are fun for kids.
And they're free.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know that. Like at our credit union branches, those are free.
Yeah. And it's fun to pour the money in and then see how much you had. So Hayden likes to do that. And then we put it into her youth savings account.
Yeah.
So.
And we have these little Share Bear registers too.
Yeah.
That you can fill out and they can watch their balances grow and keep that with them, even though their money, you know, actually coins and dollar bills aren't with them.
Yeah.
But they can see that money still and still understand that that's
there are different ways where they can kind of visualize it.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And then also in our branches, we do the youth drawings. So she loves those.
She does. So each quarter, every branch of ICCU does a quarterly youth drawing for $50. So children
That's a lot.
It is, yeah.
And
each
a lot of
branch,
branches.
right?
Yeah.
So each branch or each entry is they can bring in their report card and they can show A's on them and they get an entry for each of those A's. And then if they make a deposit of $10 or more, they can also get an entry for each of those. So there's a lot of ways to get entries. And like we said, each branch does it for $50 and the winner can come in and get their picture taken with the big $50 bill. And it's fun. It's a fun way to incentivize saving.
Yeah. And when you fill up your piggy bank or your Share Bear, your Share Bear bank with all those coins, I mean, it adds up and you're going to get to that $10.
Yeah.
So fill that baby up and bring it in and enter into the drawing.
Right.
Yeah. So during this time with the National Credit Union Youth Month, we're going to do some things on social. Do you want to just kind of give a little insider on what we're doing?
Yeah, so we are going to do a social media giveaway. And so those banks that we talked about, those Share Bear banks, we're going to fill those up with 4 of them up with $100 each.
Ooh, and you're really going to have to stuff that money in there.
And then we'll just do on Facebook, on our Idaho Central Credit Union Facebook, we will just do a comment to win post, and anybody who enters will be entered in to win that. And then we send those Share Bear banks off to them and get your kids a nice chunk of change to start saving with.
Oh, you know, I think that will be so important for those kiddos. And it's a really good way to get people involved, but then also to really kick off that savings.
Yeah,
I mean, when you have a little nest egg to start with, it's always really encouraging.
Yeah, it is. And then they can empty it and start again. So,
well, I appreciate all of this. These are really great tips. And I'm excited for all of the things coming up on social media. I'm excited about National Credit Union Youth Month. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. You always have such great energy and bring a lot of interesting topics. So I'm excited to be here.
Thank you,
April's going to be so fun.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you check out all of our social media channels that we talked about today: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're always posting great things there. And then also don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be notified of future episodes, and we will see you next time.